Welcome to another MIPA video. MIPA is a pioneering brand and a global training company that teaches individuals and organizations how to think more effectively in order to succeed in the world's most competitive century. This video introduces our workbook, Get a Life, an individual training program. Most people ask themselves the question, how can I get a job? People that are unhappy ask that question, college graduates ask that question, and the unemployed all ask the same question, how can I get a job? People look for jobs all the time. But I want you to shift your thinking just for a moment and consider a new question. So shift your thinking and consider the question, not how can I get a job, but how can I get a life? Now, life itself is a maze, and few of us know which way to turn at any point in our life. But it's important to consider this question as we walk through the maze of life. Now, to answer that question, how can I get a life, we're going to first look at E. E. Cummings, an American author, who wrote, "To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting." So to answer the question, how can I get a life, we're going to take a look at two words here. Be yourself. What we notice, however, is if we remove the R, we actually have three words here. Be, you, and self. But what do these three words mean? What does it mean to be? What does the word you mean? And how would you define self? Most people do not spend a lot of time thinking about these three words on a daily basis. But they're critically important. Because if you want to get a life, you need to define what they mean. What does it mean to be? What does it mean to be you? And what is the definition of self? Once you've defined those words, therein lies the definition of what it means to get a life. Getting a life means to be you, self. Translate each word into reality to intentionally create your future. That is your task, if you so choose to consider it. Now, this requires a high level of an awareness. There's no doubt. This awareness comes from two mindsets. One is our life approach, and one is our employment situation. So let's take a look at life approach first. In order to translate be you and self into reality, it's important to understand your life approach. There are different types of life approaches. The first is forging, where you believe you create or forge your own life. The second type of life approach is one where you're always on a quest. You're always looking. You're always looking. You're not necessarily doing anything. You're just searching. You're looking. You're on a quest. Another life approach is what's known as expectations. You believe certain people in your life expect you to behave a certain way, and you seek their stamp of approval. Another life approach is one where it doesn't matter what you do. Life is so random, so you just give up. It doesn't really matter what you do. You're going to go about your life, and since life is so random, you're not going to do anything. Another type of life approach is simply inertia, where there's nothing on your to-do list. You just don't feel like doing it. Not is it just life is so random that it doesn't matter what you do. This is where you have no energy to do anything. There's no spark at all, so you just have a life of inertia. Another life approach is where you're waiting for someone to drive a bus and pick you up and take you on their road. So do you have a bus stop life approach? Or do you have a privileged life approach, another life approach here, where you believe you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, or perhaps you weren't, quite the opposite, you weren't born with a spoon in your mouth, but you just are privileged for some reason and you deserve everything that the world has to offer. And then there is the poor me approach to life, where you throw the pity party, where woe is me, nothing works, no matter what I do, nothing ever good happens, so poor me, poor me, poor me. So what life approach do you use? So this is important. Remember, you're trying to translate the definitions of be, you, and self into reality so that you can get a life. So ask yourself, which life approach do you use? And then ask yourself, in addition to life approach, what's your employment situation? Your employment situation never, very rarely, occasionally, very frequently, or always allows you to get a life. This is important. But if you're not working but want to get a job, ask yourself, am I looking for an employment situation that allows me to get a life? Or am I looking for any employment situation because I just need money, regardless of how it allows me to get a life? Either way is fine. It's perfectly fine. Whatever your employment situation, you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to translate be you and self into reality and intentionally create your future in order to get a life? It's a simple question, yes or no. If you say no, you're like that golf ball stuck in the sand trap. It's going to be very difficult to go anywhere and to produce any positive results. If you said yes, there are 3 ways you can help yourself get a life. You can collaborate, you can become an entrepreneur, and you can commit to self-improvement. So as you continue working, or as you're looking for work, you can also choose one of these 3 considerations. So entrepreneurship. What you can do is become one that takes action. You can start now, you can start small, and you can start online. Thanks to the technology that is available today in the 21st century, almost anyone can start a company overnight. If they file the appropriate paperwork, follow all the rules and procedures to get their company up and running, you can start it now, you can start small, and you can start online. That's something to consider. You can also consider collaborating with someone. Ask yourself, who would you like to work with? What would you like to do with them, and why? And go ask them, hey, would you like to collaborate on a project, a book? Create something? What would you like to do with someone and why? And then go ask them. So that's something to consider as well. And something else to consider is self-improvement. You assess your traits and habits by using MIPA's path, Personal Assessment of Traits and Habits. You commit X number of minutes per day or week or month, so you commit your time, and you look at the tools that are available to you to make yourself improve both personally and professionally. So you can collaborate, you can become an entrepreneur, or you can commit to self-improvement. All those 3 considerations can help you get a life. And remember one final thought from Henry David Thoreau, the American author. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. Do you want to be one? MIPA wishes you well as you get a life. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.